Welcome Snoozy Fam to another Wacky Dream Wednesday where we scour the internet to find some of the weirdest, most wacky dreams out there. You won't want to miss today's episode. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content on dreams, nightmares, and all things sleep. Today's story is inspired by an anonymous user where they woke up 2,000 years in the future. Now, let the dreams begin. Everyone has had dreams about the future, but the real question is, does this seemingly made-up future actually exist? Does it hold a deeper meaning than just creative thoughts while we sleep? To imagine a future that is 1,000 or even 2,000 years from now is absurd, but I went through it. I was lying on my big green mattress and watching a sci-fi movie. The movie was about interstellar space travel where humans travel to different planets to find suitable and habitable places for humans to procreate. While watching this movie, I didn't exactly remember when I actually fell asleep. In an instant, I found myself inside a dome-like structure with white walls and colorful flooring all around me. I was a bit confused at first, but pretty quickly the surroundings didn't seem to bother me anymore. I searched for my cell phone to check the time, however, I couldn't find my phone anywhere. I got up from my bed and headed towards the front door. As I opened the front door, the surroundings were far different from what I remembered. There were no tall trees or green grass anywhere. All that was there were rusty red sand and dusty rocks. I looked around and noticed several domes just like mine in the distance. Beside one of these domes was a man playing with what seemed to be a robot dog. This robot dog was made of shiny metal, and I could distinctly remember the sound the robo-dog made when it barked. It sounded kind of like a metal hammer striking a dense metal anvil. As I started walking towards this man and the robo-dog, I felt my weight lift upwards, kind of like I was walking underwater. It felt like half of my body weight was gone. Somehow I reached him, and as I was going to say hello, he stared at me awkwardly and said, "Did you hit your head last night while digging or something?" I said, "Digging? Digging what? What are you talking about?" He responded, "You don't remember? We were both searching in the excavation site to find the lost treasures." Now I was thoroughly confused. I had never seen this man in my life, and I don't remember anything about digging for lost treasure. He said it was okay, and he invited me into his dome for breakfast. I went in to see the interior was the exact same as the one I was in. I sat down by his dining table and he asked, "So what do you want to eat?" I said, "I don't know, whatever you're having, I guess." He asked if I was okay with ham and cheese sandwich and scrambled eggs. I said, "Sounds great to me." Then from his back pocket, he took out 2 black oval-shaped pills and he gave them to me. I looked at him in confusion and asked him what these pills were. He said, "It's your breakfast. Chew them up well or you'll get some pretty bad heartburn." At that moment, I was still very confused, but I didn't want to seem rude in front of this nice man, so I plopped the 2 pills in my mouth and started chewing. As I chewed through the 2 pills, I was shocked to taste the very distinctive taste of sharp cheddar cheese and honey-smoked ham. There was also a freshness from the taste of sour pickles, fresh lettuce, and juicy tomatoes. This was without a doubt the best tasting ham and cheese sandwich I have ever had in my life. How can this oddly shaped pill taste so good? I asked him, "How long have we known each other and what is this place?" He looked at me still in shock that I had forgotten everything. He said, "We've known each other since the 3rd grade. We grew up together. This is Sector 7, and we've been here our entire lives. I wanted to continue asking questions, but felt rude that I didn't even know the man's name. I asked him politely, "Sorry, but I seem to also have forgotten your name." He smiled and said, "It's Ricky." I spent the next several hours speaking with Ricky. Through our conversations, I've learned that we currently live on Mars in an empty mountain range. Humans colonized Mars almost 2 millenniums ago, and that this year is the year 4012. Then it hit me. I am living on Mars in the very, very distant future. 1990 years in the future, to be exact. What about Earth? I asked. What happened to it? Ricky told me that Earth is still there and that we actually visited Earth last year. However, it's more like a holiday destination now. Ricky continued, Earth is still undergoing the process of restoration at this moment. The scientists are still trying to revive the planet, although almost all humanity has already migrated to distant planets to live and colonize. But why Mars? Do we work somewhere? And how do we even earn money? I asked. Ricky explained that the concept of money is long gone and that we use a point system. We earned points through working at the excavation site. Then Ricky jumped up and remembered that he had a few old childhood photos of us and walked over to the adjacent room to look for them. It was late in the afternoon, and then somebody knocked on Ricky's front door. While Ricky was busy looking at the photographs, I answered the door. To my surprise, there was a lady standing outside. She looked like a human, but when she started talking, there was no denying that the thing standing by the front door was in fact a robot. She said, "Hello, John." Whoa, this robot even knows my name? She asked where Ricky was, and I told her that he was in the other room looking for something to show me. Then Ricky came out and said, "Hi, J7, long time no see." And then they proceeded to hug each other. Ricky said that J7 was a robot that was granted human-like appearance and cognitive abilities. Then J7 asked if Ricky and I were ready to go. Ricky said, "Give me 2 minutes, I'm almost ready," and then asked me to go back to my place and get ready too. I asked them where we were going, to which both J7 and Ricky said, "To the party." This was still very weird to me, but nevertheless I went back to my white dome pod and changed into a bright green velvety suit. Once we were all ready, we headed towards a cylindrical shaped building made of glass and steel. It looked to be some sort of transportation hub or something. Once we arrived, J7 took a long stylus from her dress and tapped it on the screen that came out from one of the glass panels. She typed something into the screen. Then, seconds later, a flying UFO-type spacecraft landed in front of us. There was no driver or robot of any sort. We got into the spacecraft and shortly after, it blasted off into the sky. Looking out of the large windows of the spacecraft, I could not help but notice that the planet was not all sand and stone. Where Ricky and I were staying is actually the excavation site. Places away from the excavation site were remarkable and beautiful. There were tall, shiny buildings everywhere with beautiful landscapes. I could also see machines working at other excavation sites. Finally, we reached our destination, and Ricky told me that Sector 1 was the planet's capital city. The spacecraft landed on a large landing pad, and we all got out. There were several tall buildings in the area, but we went to the tallest one, and we were greeted by a bulky-looking robot as we entered the party arena. I was amazed at how many people were inside, along with so many other robots. The ambiance was quite lovely, with catchy music playing and majestic lights flashing everywhere. There was a floating round cage in the middle of the club. J7 asked us to join her while she was inside the cage to dance. I told Ricky to join her as I always felt a bit awkward while dancing. While J7 and Ricky were dancing to the rhythm of the songs, one of the robots came to me with a plate of small pills. She asked in her robotic voice, "What drink would you like, sir?" I could not believe that even alcoholic drinks were served inside a pill. I told the robot to recommend me their favorite drink, and the robot handed me a small red pill. Just like the pill that I had at Ricky's place, I chewed it up and swallowed it. I waited for a couple of minutes for something to happen, and then all of a sudden, I felt everything in waves of emotions and sensations. I could feel the blood rushing to my head, and every beat that was playing in the background felt like pleasurable vibrations on my skin. I could see colors everywhere, and I felt a sudden urge to dance. I got up from my chair and went straight to the floating dance cage. To my surprise, the cage was also revolving, adding extra excitement when dancing. While all of us were inside dancing and having a great time inside the cage, we popped a few more pills, and each pill that we took gave a different experiential body high. Several hours have passed, and many people have arrived at the club. The entire club was dancing and grooving to the music. Everything was going great until the music stopped and the lights turned white. Ricky told me that the club was going to shut down and we had to leave. I was having so much fun and was really upset that we had to leave. Still a bit dazed from the pills, we left the club. J7 called for the spacecraft transport again, and it took us up into the skies. Again, looking out the large windows, I was amazed at the scenery. The entire sky was glowing, and 2 moons were illuminated in the sky in opposite direction as we flew in between. I asked Ricky where we were headed, to which Ricky said, "The night's not over, my friend. We're headed to a hilltop, to the edge of the world." At this point, I wasn't even paying attention to what Ricky was saying. I was just admiring the beauty of the night sky. As we passed over a desert, we finally reached the hilltop. The place was barren, with rocky surfaces and sandy dunes everywhere. I thought to myself, we were just in such a beautiful area, and now we're walking through a desolate place to God knows where. Both J7 and Ricky were talking and laughing while I was sulking behind. And suddenly, Ricky looked at me and said, "Voila, my friend. Take 3 more steps and you'll see the best view from Mars." That got me really excited. I could not believe my eyes. Directly in front of me was a deep purple ocean, as vast and as majestic as any ocean I had ever seen in my life. The waves splashed over the rocks and the winds howled in the distance. J7 told me to look at the horizon, and I could see a blue object in the sky. I asked Ricky if this was another moon, and Ricky said, "No, brother, that is Earth, to which humanity hopes to return one day and live again." We all sat there, living in the moment and enjoying the beautiful scenery, when all of a sudden, a big wave crashed over the rocks, pulling me into the vast, deep purple ocean. I tried to swim back to shore, but it was no use. The last thing I remember seeing is Ricky and J7 waving goodbye to me as I drifted further and further away into the vast open sea. And then I woke up. I was shocked and I couldn't understand what had just happened. I got out of bed and sat on the edge of it, thinking I may have been watching too many science fiction movies lately. Some dreams can be so absurd that you can't wrap your head around them. Sometimes it's better to just let it slip by rather than think more of it. Have you ever had a dream about the future? How does your future compare to ours? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click on that bell notification for more amazing content like this. Share this with a friend if you think they may need a little wake-up call. Thanks for watching, and until next time, sleep well.